Hello, and welcome back to the Logging Off podcast. First of all, for those of you watching this on the day of release, I apologize that it's coming out midday instead of the normal 6 a.m. My fault, poor planning. Didn't record ahead of time and then ended up having a full day on the day that I normally record. So, my bad. But we're here. I actually have something quite specific that I wanted to talk about. So, I still want to put out an episode this week, though it might be short. We'll see. I can yap when it really comes down to it. So hey, I'm wearing the full set of one of my favorite things I got in Japan, which is my Tobutsu no Mori, aka Animal Crossing sweatsuit. It's because I'm completely Animal Crossing pilled again. I thought that I would never be excited about Animal Crossing ever again. It's been one of the few times where I've gotten bored of something, left, and come back and actually felt like the spark again, which is kind of cool. It actually gave me a lot of hope, just in general, about lots of different things that I've like moved on from. I restarted my island it was probably like 2022 because I wanted to like feel the early game excitement. I thought that if I could feel the early game start to finish excitement again, that I would get locked in to Animal Crossing again. It didn't work. It was kind of fun, it had I played probably for like 2 weeks, but I don't know. I couldn't force myself to be excited about it again. So I ended up just kind of like losing all of the stuff that I had like saved, all of those special recipes and stuff. Our power went out randomly like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, I've read already for like 3 hours. Let me just play something on my Switch. And I landed on Animal Crossing. I was like, okay, it's okay. Let's just face the guilt tripping of the villagers. And I know my village is going to be covered in weeds. It wasn't. And maybe this is just trauma from older Animal Crossing games, which, in my opinion, Animal Crossing's gone a little soft. Old Animal Crossing, if you didn't water your flowers, they shriveled up and died. If you left for even like 2 weeks, your villagers would act weird around you and they would leave unannounced. Okay? You would just open your mail and it'd be like, "Hey, sorry, decided to leave. Peace." I still have remorse over one particular villager that I let go, and I'm still chasing him. It's Rasher. I know, shocking, not a cutie pie, but I loved him. So anyway, I was fully prepared for that. Prepared for that virtual spanking, okay? And I logged in, and it was like quite pleasant. There was some weeds, mostly on the top sections, like the cliffs and stuff, but everyone was pretty nice. And it had been, I want to say, they said like almost 3 years that it had been since I last logged in, but no real guilt trippy. No serious guilt tripping, which I don't know if that's good or bad. Honestly, the older Animal Crossing games were a little bit traumatizing. Like, kind of, villagers were out of hand. Like, they would just make offhanded comments about going insane. And you just be a kid and be like, "Oh, okay." And then if God forbid your device crashed, you would get yelled at by this freaking groundhog. Was he a groundhog? Hedgehog? I think it's some kind of like a beaver, some burrowing animal. It would go dun, 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 and little 12-year-old me would get yelled at because my DS shut off and I didn't save my progress. It happened every time, by the way. But yeah, anyway, logged back in, felt welcomed back, and was inspired to create. And I think I may make a whole video about this, to kind of like a video essay, just talking about how amazing Animal Crossing was for my mental health the first time around, and then seeing how it's been cool both on a nostalgia level, But also, so one of the reasons I think I stopped playing Animal Crossing in the first place was because I got really overwhelmed and I would say slightly jealous over island designing. Like I saw island designs on Pinterest and I would just have my reaction would be like, oh, I can't do that. Like that's so far out of my skill level. I cannot create anything like that. It's like, why try? So anything I did on my island, I just was never really proud of. So I think that's why I kind of gave up on it. This time though, I feel I never expected this. My attitude toward it now is actually exemplary of the personal growth that I've had in pertaining to like, I feel like I'm finding a way too long. The way I'm saying this is way too long and wordy. I think I can do it now. And I think the reason I believe that I could do it now and did not believe that in the past was because, or is because, and the reason for that, I think, is because now at 29, I feel more capable of like learning something, starting something, learning something, and becoming good at something than I did when I was like 23 or 24. No, yeah, 24. How old was I in 2020? I don't know. I still feel 25. Sometimes I still feel mentally 25. Anyway, am I 29? Am I 28? Never thought this would happen to me. Am I 29? Birthday in February. Born in 1996. Yeah, because I'm going to be 30 next year. Anyway, that's a can of worms I don't want to open. So anyway, the amount of times that I've started something from scratch or started something new, been bad at it, and then become okay at it, and then become good at it, has shown itself and the effects that it's had on me through my confidence that I can actually create an island that I want, which I've been working at a little bit every day. I do time travel because I'm trying to get all of the furniture and the recipes that I have like set that I lost when I reset my island. I just like went back a month and every day either I'll just play the one day or I'll play multiple days where I go to the shops. I get the recipes, I get the furniture that's like in the tree. And then I skip to the next day. So, you know what? Sue me. It's my game. They stopped updating it. They stopped updating Animal Crossing New Horizons. So, you know, let the players have fun. I even went on Nookazon and I went down a whole rabbit hole and learned that Nookazon is like not really active anymore because of Treasure Islands, which I did visit one and it was awesome. It was really cool. There's like paid ones, or ones that there's like one where you have to subscribe to a streamer to get access to, which honestly I respect. But I went to some free ones that just had like building materials and recipes and tools and then bells. And it helps me kind of get started. I think I probably downloaded like 70 recipes just from that one island. I felt so gluttonous and greedy. But yeah, I'm playing Animal Crossing again. So I did that this morning while waiting for my headache to subside. One that I earned at Dave and Buster's last night. But I'm here just kind of like no makeup, chilling, which feels a little weird. But I'm working on not purposefully not meeting my own beauty standard or not feeling like I have to meet my own beauty standard every single time I appear on camera. So it's a bit of an exercise for me. So yeah, that's why we're cozy and like day after sleepover type of vibe. Speaking of which, there's a game at Dave and Buster's I'm cracked at. I've never been. I went for the first time yesterday for a friend's birthday. And it was like it's one of those, it's usually like a test of strength game where you take a hammer and you like hit something and you try to hit the jackpot. This was like, you have to hit it just right to not go past the jackpot or to not like drop down. Like you hit the jackpot and then you come back down. I was so good at it. I got the jackpot 3 times. I got a claw grabber thingy and a lamp that looks like a moon. So, okay. So what I actually want to talk about today is this. I'm not an expert, so I'll mostly be talking from my own experience. But I want to talk about phone addiction. I want to talk about screen addiction, social media addiction, short form video addiction, all of that wrapped up into one. Because I've been thinking about it a lot. And reading through Fahrenheit 451, which I talked about in the last episode, also made me think about my relationship with entertainment and how I am entertained versus how much I let my brain just be, how much time I spend in front of a screen. So, first of all, disclaimer, I guess, because of our modern world, especially if you work from home like me, your relationships with screens is like kind of unavoidable because our screens can do 1,000 times more than they used to. So like we play games, you can play games like board games, but a lot of our games and recreational activity is on a screen of some kind. Movies, TVs, you don't even have to go to a theater. You can to watch on like a light screen, a light screen, a projector screen. You can watch it from your couch, all from essentially the same place. And for me, I started to realize like I'm almost always in front of a screen or multiple screens at one time. And to some degree, I have to do that. That is part of my livelihood. Well, it's essential to my livelihood. And, I might be looking at a screen editing or answering emails, or I might be on my phone editing like a short form something, or talking to someone, or gaming, or streaming, or recording a podcast, whatever it is. But I started to think about, my cats always kind of jump up on my desk. And I thought about, what do I look like from their perspective? Because from their perspective, who, they're animals, they don't really understand what a screen is aside from like lights and colors and maybe sound, which offers a small amount of entertainment for them. What do I look like as another creature to them? I get up. I sit on the couch. I eat breakfast. I'm probably watching TV or I'm scrolling my phone. And then I get up from that chair and I sit in this desk and I stare at a screen working for another couple of hours. And then maybe I go to the kitchen and I, make some lunch. And then I sit on the couch again with Joshua and we watch something. And then I'm back here. And then maybe at some point during the day or during the night, I'm staring at my Kindle and I'm reading. And it's so hard because I know that I'm doing something different all the time. But what is my association, my inseparable association, or so it feels like, to screens? What is that like for my body? What is that like for my mind? And for my life as a whole? And all of the associated things like posture and eyesight, muscle development or lack thereof, how much sunshine, how much vitamin D am I getting? How much am I talking to other people in person directly? How much am I existing outside of my own house? And this is not a insolvable problem, I think. While I am inseparable from my devices to some degree, there's a relationship that I really want to examine, which I've already said, my relationship with entertainment. And I think that is mostly coming down to my relationship with my phone. Because I look at my screen time and I wonder, how on earth do I find the time to look at my phone for this long in a day? What am I doing? What am I getting? What am I giving with my time on my phone, right? So, like, sometimes something will be taking too long to load on my PC. I'm just trying to be, like, honest here. and I'll scroll my phone. Like I'll use that, 10-second delay, and I'll be like, oh, I can swipe through TikTok for 10 seconds. And it usually ends up being longer. And then I have to pull myself away from that to refocus on what I actually want to do. And I'm like embarrassed and honestly disturbed by how much I seem to be craving these like small hits of dopamine, cheap dopamine, just little kind of inconsequential appeasements of my like mental state, like something to make me laugh or something to, give me some sort of stimulation, and how much I seem to crave that instant gratification all the time, and how hard it is to pull myself away from it. And like, it's easy to think that that's not a big deal, those little moments of like being on my phone. But what is that doing to my brain? Like, how much thought am I robbing myself of because I'm constantly receiving some sort of input? And I started to realize, like, even when I go see a movie and I'm in one place for a long time with no distractions other than the movie itself, I can't pull out my phone. I can't receive multiple like bombardments of entertainment. That is usually like I walk out of movie theaters feeling usually with ideas that I don't think I would have come up with outside of that. Or like I don't know, like when we'd be in another country and we'd be on the subway and there'd be no internet service. Those are the times that I felt probably more alive than I feel on a regular basis when I'm just so addicted to entertainment. And I think about my work output, and I know my work output has been much, much lower. And there's a variety of reasons for that, just personally. But I know part of it is because I want something all the time. I want, like, what am I running from with my obsession with my phone? What am I robbing myself of? And is there something that I'm like afraid of that's causing me to not want to sit and think for very long? And the reason I'm talking about this is, one, because I think phone screen addiction is something that afflicts a lot of people, and it's something that you didn't necessarily choose. It was just kind of thrust upon you, especially depending on when you you got your first phone, your first internet attached phone. And I think there's some internal stuff, maybe stuff that I don't want to face, stuff that I don't want to think about, that I can avoid by being constantly entertained. And I might even be using, like, it's not like it's helping. If I feel like I'm really behind on a lot of things, I can temporarily quell that feeling by scrolling my phone. But that only makes the actual problem worse, because what if I chose instead of my phone? What if 5 out of 10 times, instead of choosing my phone when I have a free moment, what if instead I chose to do something that offered delayed gratification, such as a task around the house, doing the dishes, getting rewarded with a clean kitchen? What if instead of scrolling my phone mindlessly and getting advertised to and reading horrible news and then getting something stupid to laugh at and something brain dead, like what if instead I chose to sit down and write in my journal for 10 minutes? I started to realize, like, I don't even know if I have the ability to sit down and write for a long time. Like when I start writing, sometimes I get agitated. Like I want to be done with the piece of writing, but I don't want to write it. That tells me that something's wrong in here. Like I want the result and I want it instantly, which means that is what my brain has grown accustomed to. immediate gratification instead of doing something meaningful that will give me gratification later. And I think, looking at how my life has changed over the last 3 years, I think that problem, that affects other parts of my life too. Like, if I don't have the ability to delay my gratification, how can I work on anything for any long period of time? Is this why it takes me so long to edit videos? Probably. Is this why I'm so behind on lots of projects? Yeah, most likely, yes, it is. What am I, I don't even think I've really realized how much I'm giving up because I just want to scroll my stupid phone. because it's easier. It's easier to do that. So this is something that I'm working in myself, but also telling you in hopes that maybe it will help you too, or give you something to think about. I am tired of being a dopamine addict and satisfying that dopamine addiction with my phone and with TikTok and Instagram and Twitter or whatever it is. I'm tired. I'm genuinely sick of instant entertainment, and I can't, dude, Fahrenheit 451 really shook me up. I'm like, what? If I were to zoom out, if someone from the past was able to look at my life and my daily life, what would they think of it? And how far off am I from Wall-E? Those people rolling around on their chairs, watching their screens. That is obviously a dramatized example, but we kind of all do that in small ways or in big ways every day. That is a warning to not be so attached to your screen that you're ignoring your immediate surroundings. And there's a lot of other aspects I could talk about, and something that this is such unprecedented times that I don't know how our brain processes receiving all this information rapid fire. Can our brains really tell the difference between stuff that's happening near us versus stuff that's happening far away? And does receiving information and receiving entertainment from all over the place, what kind of souping effect does that have on our brain? I don't know. That's something I'm not going to talk about it yet because I want to research it more. But right now, what I'm focused on currently is rejecting my impulses to grab my phone and give myself 5, 10, even 20 minutes of brain dead entertainment. And I know this is weird to say, being a content creator, and I'm part of that world. And that is probably something I'll end up thinking about a bit later. And wanting to make sure that my content is purposeful and meaningful and hopefully beneficial in some way beyond just entertainment, especially YouTube videos and longer form stuff. But as far as a consumer, I want to be more mindful about how the way that I consume social media, the way that I interact with instant entertainment on my phone especially, how that affects me, how that affects my family, and how that affects my purpose, my internal life and my external life, how it might be affecting my mental health without realizing it. I'm really at the start of this journey, so I'll probably have an update for you at some point. Hopefully when I've made some progress and my screen time has gone down. So yeah, that is kind of the big thing I want to talk about today. And I really do think there is hope. And I think that it's good to know that the ability to change is in my own hands. And I can choose to be better and to make myself better and to change my own mind in some way or over time gradually. I'm sure it's gonna be a little bit hard, and it's already been a little bit hard. But every time, I'll tell you this, every time in the last like 2 weeks that I've chosen something else over my phone, I've been glad I've done it. So if you would, I would challenge you to consider your relationship with instant entertainment and with rapid fire entertainment that you don't really need to commit to receive. Think about how it might be affecting you. And I would encourage you to try to cut down on your screen time, put limits on yourself, and stick to them. And think more about what you want to feel like at the end of the day instead of right now. And maybe we can overcome phone addiction together. Okay. Short episode because that's really just all I wanted to talk about. But yeah, I'd rather have a short episode that I feel like is meaningful than a long episode of fluff. So that's going to be all from me today. Have a wonderful time zone. I will see you next week on Thursday on time. Hey, if I could sacrifice, if I can cut down on my my phone screen time by 1 hour, that is enough time to record the podcast. So just being practical here. We could do this. Okay. See you next week. Be well. Bye-bye.